There were several questions about how these statistics are arrived at. The pretty phenomenal statistics, 10 to the billionth power or whatever, and so how those numbers are arrived at.
Yeah.
And one question. It seems like the things that do happen, a lot of things that happen randomly are.
Let me look at my PowerPoint for an answer on this. Go ahead. Keep asking your question.
No.
Ask your silly question.
All right. Yeah, the fact that you and I are here on the stage on this date, where
Yes.
it's in one sense it's random. It wasn't planned out. The odds are phenomenal, though, that it occurred exactly this way.
Yes.
Explain.
Okay, so you got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we get these numbers? Let's just talk about that for the first part of it. These are not numbers that were arrived at by Christian theologians or Christian apologists. These are the numbers, the statistical rarity that's been arrived at by those guys. These are the numbers that they're giving us, that the astrophysicists are giving us. And I'm willing to use their data. I think it's actually even more powerful when we use their data, because I'm not creating those numbers. And that's the problem. That's why they've got multiverse theories. They look at their data and they go, oh my gosh, we got a problem here. I wanted to show you this because I think it kind of addresses this issue. And that's that there is a difference between a fact and an inference. So what I try to do is separate these two things. People will say all the time, well, the multiverse is a fact, or evolution is a fact, or whatever their claim is a fact. No, it's an inference from facts. I get it. Facts are those pieces of evidence that we show a jury. But it's a fact that he's guilty? No, it's a fact that these things happened. I can infer now that he's guilty. The facts lead me to an inference. Now, I wish it was just the rules of evidence that we all use to get from here to here, but it's not always the case. A lot of what helps people decide whether the facts lead to an inference has nothing to do with evidence at all. It has to do with, unfortunately, the way they were wired, or their memories, their own historical past shapes the way they view things, or what their preferences are, or what their desires are. These are things that people, unfortunately, allow them to shape the facts into an inference. And so you can end up with two people who look at the same set of facts, and come to two entirely different conclusions. Well, why? Because they've allowed their personal experiences, preferences, and desires to shape their decision. It's this stuff here. It's like we start off in a car, go into the same one of three possible destinations, and we end up in one of those three destinations. Well, why? What? We started off together. Why do we end up in different places? That stuff. That stuff is what drives us. Now, so when I see somebody who looks at a multiverse or looks at evidence in the universe, let's say, and they come to a certain conclusion, like my friends, for example, who look at evidence, and they say, I believe based on the evidence that Darwinism is true, they'll say Darwinism is a fact. No, even if it's true, it's not a fact in that way. The facts are the evidences that lead you to this inference. It might be a true inference, but it turns out when I look at I'm looking at the exact same set of evidences. I'm not making up Christian facts to get to a Christian inference. I'm looking at the same biological facts that they are in DNA, in biology. And I think that it points in the exact opposite direction. I think that this is the best inference, design is the best inference for the same facts that they say Darwinism is the best inference. Well, why do we end up in two different places here? Sometimes it's this stuff. So I think what's happening here with the multiverse is that people, those numbers are not my numbers. Those are their numbers. I think the best inference is our inference.